Hi guys, happy Saturday. Yes, Saturday. So today, sadly, it's the end of the La Santísima Muerte series segment. So I will be starting a new deity very soon. Very soon. But upon request for Jill, her birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday in advance. I love you very much. You're amazing. You and your daughter make my day so much better. I just love you guys to death. So, I'm going to do a video, my very first video, so bear with me, on tarot cards. I can read them with no problem. It's just I cannot explain how to read them to anybody else. So, I'm going to go buy the book, and then I'll explain how I do it myself. So, alright. I don't even know how many cards are in the major arcana. I have no clue. So, I don't know. I didn't even know how to begin this video. So, I'm just going to do the major arcana today, and then I will go on to the smaller ones, the minor, which the major arcana represents different archetypal energies, like universal ones. So, for instance, we have the first card, which would be the Fool. I've actually had this deck since I was 7, so it's very old. Very, very old. So that's the Fool. And that is your first card. That is your first card. And that represents the person on their journey, spiritual journey. I'm just going to read them to you because I don't know. Unless I'm actually doing some kind of reading, so. Alright, the Fool. So, divinatory meanings. This is the book that I actually have too. And I've had this since I was 7 also. So it's very old. It's falling apart. So are the cards. So it's just an old deck of cards. Alright, so the Fool. Okay, here we have a youth about to step off the edge of a precipice? A cliff. Why can't they just say cliff? It's so much easier. Okay, he symbolizes the life power before it enters into manifestation. Therefore, he represents inexperience, which certainly can be foolish. He faces northwest, the direction of the unknown. The sun behind him still rising, for the spiritual sun never reaches its zenith. If it did, it would descend and decrease in power. The wand over the youth's shoulder is a symbol of the will, and tied to it a wallet that is thought to carry universal memory and instinct. Another possible interpretation is that the wallet carries the 4 magic symbols that he will have to learn to use. So the Fool represents you, your journey into the tarot. As you go through the major arcana, that's you. So the Fool will journey from card to card to card to card. It'll make sense in a minute. The sign of the eagle on his wallet betokens real strength and is also associated with the zodiac sign Scorpio. Scorpios? Do I have any Scorpios on here? That's your card, the Fool. That's not a bad thing. So it's not a bad thing. The youth also carries a white rose, indicating that he is still free from animal forces or animal forms of desire, so his shadow self. The little white dog at the young man's heels has many possible meanings, and he has been evolved from the wolf, showing that the lower forms of life can be elevated and improved by human companionship. He also shows us that nature is glad to follow along in man's wake. The snowy mountains in several cards indicate the cold, abstract principles of mathematics, which governs all earthly phenomena. Very true. The Fool is about to pass into the cycle of life, through which each soul must journey, stages so graphically described in Bunyan's Pilgrim's Progress. Think of the youth as spirit facing unknown possibilities of self-expression as he enters the world an ignorant babe. He stands on spiritual heights, about to step down into manifestation. Every man must journey forward and choose between good and evil. If he has no philosophy, he is the fool. So that is the general meaning of the fool. So that's the fool. His divinatory meaning. The subject of the reading is a dreamer, a mystic. He has the desire to accomplish a great goal. He must be careful to make the right choice. If he thinks that when ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise, then he is indeed the fool. A lot of people like to read the cards reversed. I don't. I never read them reversed. I just don't see the point. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't do a thing for me. It just represents to me that the spirits are on this side of me, watching. So it would just place more emphasis. If that card came up reversed, it would have no negative meaning for myself. So I don't know where people got reversing the tarot cards, because I don't. I don't read them reversed. I think it just doesn't vibe with me. Sorry. Okay, so that's the Fool. That's your card of Scorpios. Very old. Very, very old. Ouch. Cracked my thumb. Alright, so I won't read the reversed meanings because I don't use them, so. Alright. Your first card is the Magician. And that represents, finally the Fool has become his journeying to manifesting power from above to below. So as above, so below. Boom, right there. And he has the eternity symbol over his head, which is very common on the Ouija board, that people say that is opening up a portal to hell. Actually, it means eternity. So there you go, guys. Long before the Ouija. So, Magician. Okay, the Magician card the Magician stands before a table on which are laid a wand, a cup, a sword, and a pentagram, representing minor arcana and meaning. Air, fire, water, and earth. He is about to draw power from above to materialize his desires. Over his head is the cosmic lemon stick, shaped like a figure 8 on its side, a symbol of eternal life and domination, indicating the harmonious interaction of the conscious and subconscious idea and feeling, desire, and emotion. I think that gives a lot of insight into the Ouija and the figure 8s. I do. So yeah, I think it's funny that people think that that's such an evil symbol. Not at all. So, about the Magician's waist, we see the well-known symbol of eternity, a serpent devouring its tail. About his head is a rose vine with red roses, representing desire. In front of him are more red roses intertwined with the white lilies of abstract thought. His inner garment is white, purity. His outer robe, the red of desire, activity, and passion. The hand holding the magic wand is the ego consciousness, reaching up for power, while the other hand points to the earth, as it is the Magician's wills Earth's forces to be subservient to him. Or it might be said that with one hand he reaches up to take the hand of the infinite for accomplishment in the higher realms, while he reaches down with the other to encourage the evolution of the lower kingdoms, thus uniting spirit and matter in eternity. The Magician represents a man's will in union with the divine, achieving the knowledge and power to bring desired things into manifestation through conscious self-awareness. So that's all about manifesting your own will. This is you. This is the power within you, the power that is around you, drawing from above, as above, so below, like I said before. So his divinatory meaning, it represents will, mastery, organizational skills, creative talents, the ability to take the power from above and direct it through desire into manifestation. And I will not read the reverse because I don't believe in those. I don't. Just doesn't vibe. So that's the Magician. It's so much easier to do this when I'm actually doing a reading. So our third card is the High Priestess. I really love her. She is amazing. She holds lots of secrets. Lots and lots of secrets. So, we have balance. And you guys obviously see B and J. So, okay. The High Priestess. The High Priestess is seated between two pillars from the Temple of Solomon. The black pillar of Boaz, representing the negative life force, and the white one, Joshin, the positive life force. Thomas Howard, in his book, The Hidden Power, has this to say about two pillars before the temple. They contain the key to the entire Bible and to the whole order of nature. And as emblems of two great principles that are pillars of the universe, they fitly stood at the threshold of that temple, which was designed to symbolize all the mysteries of being. So, she holds the mysteries. I love her. I love her to death. Okay, so the High Priestess is protecting on her lap a scroll of esoteric wisdom inscribed with the word Torah, divine law. For it is not allowed for all to see, all eyes to see. The solar cross on her breast, with arms of equal length, represent the balance of the positive and negative forces. The upright is the positive male element, the horizontal, the negative female element. The veil between the pillars is decorated with pomegranates, which are female, and palms, male, symbolize indicating that the subconscious is potentially reproductive. The edge of her gown, which balances the crescent moon at her feet, trails out of the picture, indicating the stream of consciousness, which flows into the background of key 3, the Empress, and reappears in later cards. The High Priestess is the virgin daughter of the moon, and wears on her head the symbol of a full moon, which is waxing, and a waning image of the moon on each side. She is the eternal feminine, sometimes called Isis, or Artemis. She corresponds to all virgin goddesses of the ancient world, even to Eve before her union with Adam. She is a spiritual enlightenment, inner illumination, whereas the Fool and the Magician represent only the potentiality, I don't know how to say that word, potentiality, whatever. The will to create the High Priestess has the latent power to manifest. She is the link between the seen and the unseen. So it's very good to meditate with these cards, meditate on their meanings. So her divinatory meaning, unrevealed future, hidden influences at work, of special values for artists, poets, composers, or mystics. When this card appears in a man's reading, it represents the perfect woman all men dream of. In a woman's reading, it may indicate that she can find such virtues in herself or in a friend. So, it's crazy. It's a lot. It is a lot. Okay, so our third card is the Empress. That is the Empress. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Venus, Aphrodite. Alright, so the Empress. She is the Earth Mother. Here seated in a blossoming garden, a field of ripe wheat lies before her, sacred to the Egyptian goddess Isis. Behind her is seen the stream of consciousness flowing between cypress trees, sacred to Venus. The heart-shaped shield is inscribed with the symbol of Venus. The Empress's hair is bound with a wreath of myrtle, again reminiscent of Venus, as are the 7 pearls around her neck. I want to make words into my own today. She wears a crown of 12 stars, each with 6 points, and this is denoting dominion over the macrocosmos, as does her scepter. surrounded by a globe. The High Priestess symbolizes the virgin state of the cosmic subconsciousness, but the Empress typifies the productive, generative activities in the subconscious after it has been impregnated by seed ideas from the self-conscious. Okay, the subconscious has control over all steps of development in the material world. Therefore, the Empress represents the multiplicator of the images. She is the goddess of love, Venus, the symbol of universal something, I don't know that word, fidelity, sorry. As the High Priestess is Isis veiled, the Empress is Isis unveiled. So, it takes a long time to actually understand all of this. So I don't go by the book meanings. I mean, I have them memorized, but I don't go by them. I do them with my gut. I say what my gut says. And they've been right. Scary right. Okay, so the divinatory meaning for the Empress. Material wealth, marriage, fertility for would-be parents, for farmers, or for people in the creative arts. It is a position. It is not the best. If its position is not in the best placement in relation to other cards, it sometimes indicates luxury or dissipation. So, that is the Empress. I like her just because she's associated with Venus and Aphrodite, and I love Venus and I love Aphrodite. Okay, our fourth card is the Emperor. Coffee break. That is the Emperor. You guys can see that. Oh no, there's a big glare. So that's the Emperor. I'll kind of just keep him up while I read his meaning. Okay, the Emperor, he sits on his throne commanding and stately. He is a solar figure. Okay, as testified by the ram's head, emblems of Mars that decorate his throne and appear on his left shoulder. In his right hand, the active male side, he holds the Egyptian Ankh, also called the Crux, Anasta, cross of life. The Ankh, too, is one of the symbols of Venus. In the Emperor's left hand, the passive female side, is the globe of domination, showing that only through the feminine power of love can we balance spirit and matter, and thus have the true power to rule. He is seated against a background of bare mountains. His key is number 4, and this also indicates all that is stable, foursquare, broad-based, a foundation for the building of law and order. The number 4 also has the significance in numerology. 4 is the number of the elements, air, earth, fire, and water. There are 4 seasons in the year, 4 points to the compass, and 4 rivers in the Garden of Eden. And there are 4 letters in the sacred name of God. IHVH, standing for Jehovah, which you all know my thoughts on that. Alright, 2, so, Key 1, the magician is the active principle of life. Key 2, the High Priestess, the passive principle. Key 3, the Empress, is the Word made flesh and dwelling amongst us. The Emperor is the active father force, contrasted with the active mother force, through whom his characteristics are brought forth. He is the magician after his union with the High Priestess has changed her into the Empress and made him the father of her offspring. The Emperor stands for domination of the material world, for authority, paternity, and the regulation of life by law. Note that the flesh is not the enemy of the spirit, but its vehicle. Spirit is not the enemy of the flesh, but its driving force. The Emperor. Yeah, the Emperor. This one's for you, Joe. So, okay, divinatory meanings for the Emperor. Keywords: leadership, mental activity, domination, war-making, power, authority, paternity. The fruits of toil, the results of action, controlled and directed sexual drive. Alright. We have the Emperor done. I need a cigarette now. Badly. Okay, so the Hierophant. I think that's how you say that name. The Hierophant? I don't know how to say that name either. The Hierophant, I think. Okay, that is the Hierophant. You guys can see that. There we go. Stupid glare. I hate these glares. So much light coming in. I'm not comfortable today. So, the Hierophant. Okay. Here again we have a figure seated between two pillars, repeating the theme of duality, seen in the pillars behind the High Priestess. These are the pillars of the Tree of Life from the Kabbalah, one representing mercy and the other severity, where it might be said that one of the right hand is law and the left one liberty, to obey or disobey. Both are necessary for obedience through compulsion, can never bring freedom. Man must choose. Okay, so the capitals of the pillars are decorated with mystic symbols of sexual union. The crossed keys at the feet of the Hierophant, one gold and one silver, are the solar and lunar currents of energy. The two tonsured priests kneeling before him wear palliums to symbolize the yoke of union. The garment of one is decorated by white lilies of thought. That of others shows the roses of desire. The roses of desire. That reminds me of a poem, The Rose Garden. So, okay, this master of the sacred mysteries wears the triple crown of a pope. The lower design trefoils representing the lower material world, the middle one representing the formative world, and the top tier representing the creative world. The symbol of 3 is repeated in his staff, revealing the realms of spirit, soul, and body. The letter W is at the very top, is the Hebrew letter Yah, meaning nail, means of union, link. Here it is used to suggest the linking of man to God through the inner voice. It is of some significance that the number 5 is that of the planet Mercury. That's my ruler. Mercury. Oh, no, actually it's Mars. Ruler of intelligence. 5 is also the number of man or humanity. The pentagram. The Hierophant represents traditional Orthodox teaching, considerable suitable to the masses. He is the ruling power of external religion, whereas the High Priestess teaches only in secret and to initiates. So how cool is that? The Hierophant. Very good card. Very good card. So, his divinatory meanings. Keywords. Preference for the outer forms of religion, the ritual, the creed, the ceremony. The importance of social approval, the need to conform to society, which I don't ever do. So, it is the Hierophant. You guys understanding? I think it'll all make sense. Sooner than later. Alright, next card. Do you guys know what the next card is? The Lovers. That's the Lovers. Very old, very faded. Can't believe I had these cards for this long. So here we find Raphael, Angel of the Air, personifying the superconsciousness, pouring down cosmic benediction, blessings. That means blessings in Spanish, benedicciones. So on the top two figures below, the man in the picture represents the conscious mind in the earlier keys, the magician and the emperor, as well as the king standing in the chariot. In key 7, the woman is the subconscious mind, the high priestess, and the empress. Behind her is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, bearing the fruits of 5 senses. The serpent of sensation climbs up the tree, for temptation comes from the subconsciousness. Where'd I go? Behind the man is a leafless tree, bearing the trefoil flames of the 12 signs of the zodiac, each divided into 3 decans, I think. Okay, the key is profoundly metaphysical in its symbolism. As the man looks at the woman and she looks up at the angel, the truth conveyed is that the conscious mind cannot approach the superconscious unless it passes through the subconsciousness. A thought to consider in meditation. The lovers stand here in friendly harmony with nothing to hide from each other, as the nudity of the figures indicates. A harmonious and successful life depends on the cooperation between the conscious and the subconscious. The mountain in this key indicates the fruitfulness of correct thought. Key 6 is often symbolized by a man standing between 2 women. There is a cupid with a bow and an arrow above them. The meanings for divinatory purposes are derived from their older symbolism. So that is the lovers. And it all makes more sense when you're actually doing the reading, not just doing what I'm doing, explaining them. So, divinatory meanings for the lovers. Keywords. Choice, temptation, attraction, the struggle between sacred and profane love, harmony of the inner and outer aspects of life. So, duality within, balancing the duality within yourself. And actually, I've learned that from Karen A. Dahlman. Okay. Next card is the Chariot. And there he or she is. Lots of symbology. I just find so much the symbols within the Rider-Waite Tarot so much better than any other deck that I've ever used. Deck. What did I just say? Deck? Deck. Jeez. Can't talk. The Chariot. Okay, this key signifies a victory for the triumphant king who has conquered on all planes, particularly those of the mind, science, and growth. He wears a diadem with an 8-pointed star, here representing dominion. The Chariot stands for the human personality, which can be a vehicle for the expression of the self. The symbol on the front of the Chariot shows the wings of inspiration above the Hindu sign of the union of positive and negative forces. The 2 sphinxes are again the outer pillars of the tree of life, related in the instance to nature and not spirit. They may pull in different directions if the will of the charioteer does not control them. In the hands of the king is the wand of will, with which he must control the sphinxes. The canopy of stars over his head indicates the celestial influences hang over him and affect his victory. On his shoulders are lunar crescents. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. So, where did I go? Oh, if his power of observation are faulty, superficial, or fearful, the resulting sequence of subconscious reaction is bound to be destructive. Key 7 means rest and victory, self-discipline and stability. The conqueror may not yet have conquered himself. Here we find both will and knowledge, but there is more desire to attain than proven power for real attainment. Some occultists divide the tarot keys into 3 groups of 7 cards each. In this case, the number 7 indicates that the Fool has reached an outer triumph and is ready to learn another lesson in the next 7 cards. So you see how the Fool takes his journey, which is you, through the major arcana. So divinatory meanings, keywords for the Chariot. Triumph, success, control over the forces of nature. Thus, triumph over ill health, as well as money difficulties, or enemies of any sort, including one's own lower animal passions. This is a card of those who achieve greatness. It may also indicate travel in comfort. Mental and physical power should lead to fulfillment. So that is the Chariot. Very good card. Very good card. It's very good to meditate on these two. Just kind of get your image of the Chariot in your head, whatever card. Just start to meditate and see what comes. It's so much easier, so much better than going by a book. Okay. Next one. Strength. If you can see it. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Strength. So, strength. A woman, garland of flowers, is either closing or opening a lion's mouth. Above her head is the cosmic symbol of eternal life. Again, we have the figure 8, indicating that she is in control. Thanks to the spiritual power above her, she is exhibiting spiritual courage and the power that emanates from it. For the lion represents the passion and the lower nature of man. For a consciousness aware of the sign of eternity above it, there are no obstacles, nor can there be any fear of resistance. Her simple white robe indicates purity. Around her waist, there is a chain of roses, symbol of the union of desires, which creates such strength that wild unconscious forces bow before it. The message transmitted by this key is that we must learn to create a balance between our spiritual and carnal nature, and thus influence the lower of the two. This lesson of the need for harmony between opposing forces is often noted in tarot. So, that is strength. There we go. Very old cards. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't get rid of anything. So, okay, divinatory meanings. Keywords. A force of nature. Force of character. Spiritual power overcoming material power. Love triumphing over hate. The higher nature over carnal desires. So a very good card. Very good card. Okay. Next. The Hermit. The Hermit. So, I have a drink. Thirsty. I get tired of talking sometimes. Oh, no I don't. Okay, so the Hermit stands isolated on a snowy mountain peak, holding up a lantern to guide those below. This is the lighted lamp of truth, containing within it the 6-pointed star, the seal of Solomon, the Hermit. I can't read. I need glasses. What did I learn today in my video? I need fucking glasses. The Hermit carries a patriarch's staff to use on the narrow path of initiation. His cloak is the mantle of discretion, and in some decks he partly covers the lantern with it, if to protect truth from the profane eyes. He is ready to go to help every man who cries for light. He remains on the heights throughout the long nights of spiritual darkness. Only those who dare do and keep silent can see the light of the Hermit's lamp. Be humble if thou wouldst attain wisdom. Be humbler still when wisdom thou hast mastered. And that is from The Voice of Silence. I love that quote. The number 9 is the number of pure intellect, also the number of initiation, because it is the trinity of trinities. It is all numbers are, in it all numbers are gathered up to emerge one more in a new cycle of 10. The 6-pointed star, the seal of Solomon, is also figured as 9 by counting the outer and inner points in a special way. Every soul is upon some step of the path. We ourselves may have passed them on the way. When we refuse to recognize the divine center in others, we are bearing false witness, for we are not seeing our fellow men as they are. Buddha has said, "The light of truth's high noon is not for tender leaves." And from the scriptures come the words of those who have faith. Thy word shall be a light unto my path. So, this is my card, the Hermit, in astrology as well. So this represents me. Like when you go to pick out your card, when you're doing a tarot reading and it represents the querent, the person, this is me. So the Hermit. Okay, divinatory meanings. Keywords. Silent counsel, prudence, discretion, receiving wisdom from above, instruction from an expert in your field, a meeting with one who will guide the seeker on the path to material or spiritual needs, attainment of goals. A journey may be necessary in order to gain knowledge. And that's what that one means. So, you guys seeing how the Fool will journey from card to card? So, actually, it's the Fool transforming himself, or ourselves, throughout the major cards. I think it's cool. Okay, next card. Card 10. Wheel of Fortune. If you can see it, there we go. Alright. And the Wheel of Fortune. Here is the ever-turning Wheel of Fortune, which carries men and their destinies up and down. This is the esoteric meaning of the key, but the many symbols it depicts gives it such a more profound and subtle significance. The serpent descending the wheel is Typhon, the Egyptian god of evil, in one of his many forms. Typhon is also used to represent the life force on its descent into manifestation. This is the same force that descends at the command of the magician. In the garden, on the right-hand side of the wheel, the jackal-headed Egyptian god Hermes Anubis is the symbol of intelligence, ever aspiring to ascend, while evil is ever descending into darkness and disinterrogation. Okay, that sounds like a good word. Sounds like it's a real word. The wheel has 3 circles, of which the inner one is the creative force, the middle is the formative power, and the outer is the material world. The same symbolism as the 3 tiers of the Hierophant's crown. The 8 spokes are like the 8-pointed star in key 17. They represent universal radiant energy. This design is also repeated 10 times on the costume of the key, the Fool. The numbers of the 4 mystical animals in the 4 corners add up to 26, which is the number of Jehovah, IHVH. These are mentioned in the Bible, Ezekiel 1:10, Revelation 4:7. There is also a correspondence to the fixed signs of the zodiac in the bull to the Taurus, the lion to Leo, the eagle to the Scorpio, the man or angel to Aquarius. The Sphinx at the rest at the top of the world, at the wheel, is wisdom and the principle of equilibrium, stability amidst movement, suggesting that we are not always governed by chance and fatality, but we have the power to change our lives. This key stands for This key stands for perpetual motion of fluid universe, and for the flux of human life within it. My God. So that is the Wheel of Fortune. Awesome card. Awesome card. Okay. Divinatory meanings. Keywords. Success. Unexpected turn of luck. Change of fortune for the better. New conditions. Creative evolution within the laws of chance. Very, very fun. Very fun to study and see how the Fool journeys. I love it. Okay, next card we have is Justice. There's Justice. Sorry, you guys, my cards are very old. Very old. I don't know how they're still standing, or I don't know how they're still intact. Okay. Key 11. Justice. Justice is seated between the positive and negative forces, indicated by the pillars first seen in the High Priestess, and again in the Hierophant. Her sword is lifted in defense and justice. None can escape it. It points upward, indicated victory, and is two-edged, to convey that action destroys as well as builds, that the false must be cut away from the true. The three turrets, I think, of her crown, and the four sides of the jewel in the center add up to the number 7. Venus. Where'd I go? Oh. In her left hand are the scales of gold, always related to balanced judgment. Balance is indicated here, as it is in Key 8, Strength. Key 8 and 11 represent two aspects of the operation of a single power, creative imagination. All imagination is based on memory. This key is that of the Great Mother, through whose love, care, and perfect justice the children of men may achieve equilibrium. With this key, the Fool embarks on a higher cycle of manifestation with all the experience gained during the previous sequence of 10 keys. The purified, disciplined personality now recognizes the one life and feels it standing beside him as the sword of power endows him with the ability to divine right from wrong. Awesome card. Love this card. So that's Justice. I think that one is a little better than the other cards. Yeah, still. They're still kind of dingy. So, divinatory meanings. Keywords for Justice. Justice will be done. Balance is required. Lawsuits will be won. The balanced personality demands elimination of excess baggage. Wrong ideas, useless forms of education. A mixture of the right ingredients is welcomed, as in science, chemistry, and cooking. May betoken the desire for education, with a well-balanced mind as its objective. Very good card. Very good card. Okay. So, I'm almost done, I promise. I'm just doing the major cards today. The other ones will take a long time. So next we have the Hangman. If you guys can see him. I love how the author of the Rider-Waite put his signature down at the very bottom. If you guys can see right at the N of man. Right there. I love it. I think that's very cool. So, the Hangman. A youth is suspended by one foot from a T-cross of living wood. His arms folded behind his back, together with his head, form a triangle, with the point downward. His legs form a cross, to an extent. The Hangman is still earthbound, for his foot is attached to the T-cross. He has attained at least a measure of perfection, but not yet complete freedom, symbolized in Key 21, the world. The initiated man now stands as a responsible co-worker with the divine. It is through during the cycle from 1 to 10, God had held the hand of his child and guided him in carving the model of the man to be. Now the chisel is left in his hands of the matured youth. He must create from the materials given him. He must, like the Hermit, take his part in the world's redemption. The sign, I don't know what the symbol is in here, is the sign of accomplishment, of the great work, the overcoming of personality, and the transmutation of the lower passions into pure gold. Alchemy. At the 12th step, I didn't know we were going through a 12-step program, we will find the initiate reversed, although ultimately he must stand on his own feet and surmount the cross thus. We see the Hangman, the idea of the utter dependency of the human personality on the tree of cosmic life. Here we also have associations with Hercules as a symbol of the sun in its passage to the 12 signs of the zodiac, or the 12 labors of Hercules. He is a compound of god and hero. He represents the 12 steps of initiation through which every man must pass. Then the lower forces of the signs of the zodiac will have been transmuted into higher uplifting powers of each sign. This card has profound significance, even through much of what is veiled. Man must now accomplish his regeneration for himself consciously and voluntarily. So if that makes sense to you guys, I hope it does. That is the Hangman. You can see him. So that is the Hanged Man. Alright. Keywords, divinatory meanings. Keywords for the Hangman. In spiritual matters, wisdom, prophetic power, a pause in one's life, suspended decisions, self-surrender leads to the transformation of the personality. Material temptation is conquered. Very alchemical. I like it. I love alchemy. Okay, next card. Everybody hates this card. Everybody does. Death. It's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. So, key 13 is death. Not a bad card. So, a skeleton in armor rides a white horse that tramples over a fallen king and draws near a child, a woman, who turn from the child, him in dread. The standing figure is a bishop, in a mittler shaped like a fish, denoting the Piscean age, which is about to end. Death carries a banner on which there is a 5-petaled rose, symbol of Mars, and the life force. The river in the background indicates the constant circulation of life force into materialization and out again. The water as it flows to the sea is sucked up by the sun to form clouds, from which rain falls into the streams, and then to the river again. The sun on the eastern horizon indicates immortality. Once the two towers, which meet again in key 18, have been passed, the fundamental meaning of death in key 13 is that the manifester of the universe. The sun is the center, and the 12 signs of the zodiac surround it, making 13 signs in all. The king has fallen, reminding us that kings must inevitably fall. There's a perpetual transformation, one aspect of which is death-birth. Death is a protest against stagnation. It is by death and social changes for the better come to pass, and old ideas give way. With the new generation, new ideas gain currency as youth moves into maturity. This card is a suggestion to change old concepts for new, to change rigid intellectual patterns. Petty prejudices, ambitions, and opinions gradually die. The change from the personal to the universal view is so radical that the mystics often compare it to death. But death is the twin brother of life. Creation necessitates its opposite, destruction. As spirit descends into matter, so it must return to its source. Death is half of the universal transforming principle, but spirit is immortal. Thus humanity can never die. For the destroyer has become the creator. Totally different look on the death card, huh? So, divinatory meanings, keywords when reading the death card. No, it does not mean anybody is going to die. No. Transformation, change, destruction followed by renewal. The change may be in a consciousness, birth of new ideas, new opportunities. That's what the death card means. Nothing bad. Nothing bad. Okay. I hope you guys know that. Excuse me. Okay, next card. Temperance. I actually drew this card the other night for one of my dear friends. My dear, dear, dear friends that never watches any of my videos. No, I'm kidding. She works her ass off. That's why. You guys are getting really long videos today. Okay. If you guys are wondering too, this book, I don't know if it's still in print. It's not Llewellyn. Thank the gods. It's called A Complete Guide to the Tarot by Eden Gray. Lavishly illustrated. I don't know if it's in print. I do not know. It's so old. The entire thing is just falling apart. My dad, he got me that for Christmas, and I cherish that deck because it came from my dad. So, I love it. So, Temperance. Okay, this key represents the Archangel Michael, who is related to fire and the sun. He pours the essence of life from the silver cup of the subconsciousness into the golden cup of the conscious, from the unseen into the seen, and then back again. This depicts the entry of the spirit into matter, the influence of matter upon spirit, as well as the flowing of the past through the present and into the future. The square on the breast of the angel indicates the four squares of reality, four-square reality of physical manifestation, and within it the triangle of the spirit points upward. This symbol is also the sign of the sacred book of the Tarot. 4 plus 3 equals 7, indicating the aspects of divine life, and the 7 chakras, or centers of the body used in yoga meditation. Note that one of the foot rests on the earth and the other in the water. This symbolizes the archangel is equally at home in the consciousness or the subconsciousness. The water is the pool, indicates the subconscious mind of man and the universe. On the bank of the pool are irises, a reminder that Iris was the Greek goddess of the rainbow. At the end of the path, there is a crown of mastery and attainment. Did you guys know that? She was the goddess of the rainbow. I thought that was pretty cool when I read that, like, 15 years ago. Alright. This is the card of vibration and radiant energy. Of the tempering and the modification of experience. Just as the key 4, the Emperor, is the foundation of the physical, so key 14 is the foundation of the mind, adding to 4 the power of 10. Here, man has, in large measure, mastered his own thoughts and achieved mental balance. There is nothing in the cosmos but vibration, and all forms of vibration can be modified and managed by the adept. But we do nothing ourselves alone. Our guardian angel makes the tests and trials that lead us along the path of attainment. As we learn to transform the life force from the imagination, the moon, into the activity of the consciousness, the sun, the will is developed and the imagination is purified so that the pouring from the silver cup into the golden one we lose nothing. This is another of the stages of occult progress that the fool must take on the path to mastery. So we're getting further and further and further. Okay, keywords, divinatory meaning, keywords for temperance. Adaption, tempering, coordination, self-control, modification, working in harmony with others, good management. What we have imagined will come to pass. Successful combinations will be achieved. Love it. Very alchemical. Is it making sense? I hope. Okay, our next card. This is not a bad card. This represents the god of Dionysus. And that is the devil card. But it can be bad. It can definitely always be bad. So, pleasure, indulgence, the god Dionysus. So, the devil is the polar opposite of the Archangel in key 14. His horns are those of a goat, and his face is a goat's face. He has bat wings and donkey ears that suggest the obstinacy and stubbornness of materialism. So, he sits on a half cube, which signifies the half knowledge of what is only the visible sensory side of reality. His right hand is upraised, giving the sign of black magic. I don't think that is true. As opposed to the Hierophant, which is raised in blessing. On the palm is the symbol of Saturn, the planet of limitation and inertia. Inertia. I've not heard that word for a long time. You can actually call a cigarette the devil card. Has chains on you. So. Okay. In his left hand, he holds the smoldering torch of destruction, the inverted pentagram denoting evil intent. It is inscribed above his forehead. Chained to his half cube are two nude figures, similar to those in key 6. The tail of the man represents the wrong use of the signs of the zodiac. The woman's tail represents a bunch of grapes, suggesting the wrong use of wine of life. There is no devil except of man's own creation, and here it is evident that men are chained by their own wrong choices. However, the chains about their necks are loose and can be removed at will. Ouch. So, that's what that means. Sore. Alright, keywords to divinatory meanings, which I don't really agree with. Black magic, discontent, depression, illness, wrong use of force, bondage to the material, sensation, divorced from understanding. So, it just all depends on what you pick up from the cards when you're actually reading them. So don't assume that it represents the devil, because there is no devil. He is not real. He is a creation of man. I mean, who else are we going to blame our problems on? Okay, next card is the Tower. Again, not a bad card. Not a bad card. So that's the Tower. Key 16, the Tower. Okay, this is the Tower of Ambition, built on false premises. It is made of the bricks of traditional race thought and the wrong use of personal will. Streaks of lightning issued from the sun. The crown of materialistic thought falls from the tower. The lightning is also the divine fire that destroys only what is evil and purifies and refines what is good. The falling drops of light or dew, seen here as well as in the key 18 and in the aces of 3 suits of the minor arcana, are Hebrew yods. They signify the descent of life force from above into the conditions of material existence. The man and woman are falling from their tower of material security after a brilliant glimpse of truth. We see here the cosmic consciousness struggling to break through man's thoughts of material ambition and bring them to naught in order that we may build again. When man sells his soul to the devil, uses his occult knowledge for evil ends, then destruction descends upon him from above. Key 16 has been associated with the fall of Satan's kingdom. This tower is built upon a foundation of misapprehension. Except the Lord built the house, they labor in vain that built it. You guys know my beliefs on the Bible. So, alright, divinatory meanings. Keywords for the Tower card. Change, conflict, catastrophe, overthrow of existing ways of life. Old notions upset. Disruption will bring enlightenment in its wake. Selfish ambition is about to come to naught. Bankruptcy. That's a very nice last keyword. Bankruptcy. So yeah, still, it's not a bad card. Not at all. Okay, next card. The Star. Damn it. There. You guys can see it. Alright, the Star. Key 17. Okay, a beautiful maiden kneels with one knee on the land and 1 foot in the water. The earth supports her weight, but she balances herself on the water of the subconscious. She is the Empress and Mother Nature, pouring the waters of life onto the material earth. The 5 rivulets represent 5 senses before they run into the pool of the universal consciousness. From the other picture also pours directly into the pool, which is stirred into vibration by meditation. Behind the maiden, the sacred ibis of thought rests on tree, or your mind. In the sky are 7 small 8-pointed stars, and a large one, all representing radiant cosmic energy. The 7 smaller stars correspond to the 7 chakras of the body. This is the key of meditation, showing us that meditation modifies and transmutes the personal expressions of the cosmic energy that pour down upon the maiden. If we will but listen, the truth will unveil itself to us in silence. From the record of nature's memory, symbolized by the scroll of the High Priestess, we gain wisdom, out of which meditation develops specific powers by controlling the animal forces in human personality, as pictured in Key 8. I love that card. I love all the cards. I always do. Okay, divinatory meanings, keywords for the Star. Insight, inspiration, hope, unselfish aid, good health, the gifts of the Spirit. Great love will be given and received. I like that one. Okay, next card is the Moon. The Moon. Love the Moon. Love the Moon. No, actually I have kissed my cards before. Okay, Key 18, the Moon. The moon in 3 phases watches over the landscape. From the pool of the cosmic mind, stuff in the foreground, a crayfish appears, symbolizing the early stages of consciousness, or conscious unfoldment. The wolf is nature's untamed creation. The dog is the result of the adaptation to life with man. In the background, halfway up the path, are twin towers a man has erected to protect himself from his holistic environment. The moon will lead him along the rugged path, past the towers, to the final heights of attainment. It will be guided by her reflected light and listen to the voice of his subconsciousness. Once again, the falling drops are yods, representing the descent of life force from above into the material existence. This is the key of sleep and dreams. The moon's 3 phases of intuition concern body, mind, and spirit. The Moon Mother watches over the birth of spirit into material manifestation. The number 18 consists of the digits 1 and 8, which add up to 9, thus becoming the second 9, and indicating the second initiation. The Hermit was the first 9 on the path. The fool is still on his journey, learning, falling back, and then again advancing. So, making more sense. Divinatory meanings. Keywords for the moon. Intuition, imagination, deception, unfoldment of Latin psychic powers, unforeseen perils, secret foes, bad luck for one you love. Always use your gut. Always use your gut. Next card, the Sun. Love this card. What card don't I freaking love? So that's the Sun. Okay, key 19. A naked child rides a white horse and holds a red banner aloft. The horse is solar energy, which he now controls without saddle or bridle. It represents perfect control between the conscious and the subconscious, unconscious. His red banner signifies action and vibration, as do the rays of the sun, so different from the quiet, reflected light of the moon. He carries the banner in his left hand to indicate the control has now passed from the conscious, the right hand, into the subconscious, the left hand. Just as while we are learning to play the piano or ride a bicycle, we use the conscious part of our minds. When we have learned, we pass control over to the subconscious. The expert pianist can carry on conversations while playing the intricate piece, and the youthful bicyclist shouts, "Look, Ma, no hands," and then falls on his face and has to eat apples from the side of his cheek. I'm kidding. Okay. The walled garden behind the child is cultivated, a garden of man, which he has left behind. There are 4 sunflowers looking toward him for their full development. Instead of toward the sun, they represent the 4 elements: air, earth, fire, and water. The child is fair like the fool, and like the fool, he wears a wreath and a red feather. His nakedness indicates that he no longer has anything to hide. Here the fool has gained spiritual victory over the lower aspects of his nature, a very different triumph from that which he was demonstrating as the charioteer in key 7, when his conquest was only over his own will. The number 19 is associated in mythology and legends as the number of the sun. One who has attained to 19 becomes a sun initiate, ready to accomplish for humanity on the inner planes what the sun accomplishes in giving light and warmth to the earth. So that's the sun. Amazing. So, keywords, divinatory meanings for the sun. Material happiness, success, attainment, good marriage, happy reunions, achievements in the arts, science, and agriculture, studies completed, liberation, pleasure in the simple life. Love that card. Next card. Judgment. That's the next card. So, key 20 is Judgment. Okay, the angel Gabriel emerges from the heavens, blowing on his bannered trumpet. Well, he can go right back up and just not blow on those trumpets. Its 7 basic tones, indicated by the 7 lines radiating from it. This imperious blast is the creative word that liberates man from his terrestrial limitations. The cross on the banner... Sorry, guys. Okay. Where did I go? The cross on the banner is the solar symbol of the balance of forces. The coffins float on the sea of the cosmic mind, which is the ultimate goal of these streams and pools that began in the High Priestess and passed through many forms. Snowy mountains beyond the sea are heights of abstract thought. Quote, "The hour cometh, and now is in which all they with are in the tombs of human belief shall hear his voice and shall rise." Unquote. This is the reawakening of nature under the influence of spirit. the mystery of birth and death, the man arising from the tomb of the world belief, is again the conscious, the woman the subconscious, the child the regenerated personality. Spirit has now fully clothed himself in man. The Word has been made flesh and dwells amongst us. The one who has passed the tests, including the crucial last test, is always called the twice born. Key 20 is composed of 2 complete cycles of 10, each containing the experience of the 9 digits, but unlike the first 10, in which 1 stands before 0, of the unmanifest forces. Here we find 2, signifying that the life force entered into matter, and was multiplied. So, quote, the power belongs to him who knows, unquote, and he who knows is then responsible. So therefore the fool is the one who, by effort and suffering, found the secrets of life. Makes perfect sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you guys. So, divinatory meanings, keywords for judgment. A life well lived, work well done, awakening, renewal, legal judgments in one's favor, a change of personal consciousness, which is now on the verge of blending with the universe. Love that one. And the last card, key 20, key 21, the world. The world card. So, key 21, the world. Okay, here we see a dancer clad only in a scarf. How rude. She should put some clothes on. No, I'm kidding. An oval wreath frames her figure, symbolizing the mystery of creation. The ribbons twined around the wreath again suggest the cosmic lemonscape. The 4 beasts at the 4 corners of the key, a slightly different version of those in key 10, represent the 4 elements of air, fire, water, and earth, which have now been balanced and become the cornerstones of life. The legs of the dancer form a cross, as do those of the hangman, but the triangle he represented was under the cross, signifying that he was still bound by earthly things. Here a triangle is formed pointing upward from the dancer's hands to the top of her head. Thus the triangle is spirit. Triangle of spirit. Now surmounts the cross of the material. The dancer's 2 wands represent the powers of involution and evolution, which she now possesses. Though the dancer seems a female, some writers claim that it's a hermaphrodite is depicted in this key, which the veil hiding the truth. This is thought by some to be the ideal state from which humanity came and to which it returns. The attainment is the merging of the self-conscious with the subconscious, the balancing of those 2 with the superconscious, the final state of cosmic consciousness, the supreme goal to which all other keys have led. So, divinatory meanings, keywords for the world would be completion, renewal, success or reward, success, triumph in all undertakings, travel, change of residence, arrival at a state of cosmic consciousness, the path of liberation. Okay, so that is the major arcana of these cards. All those cards right there. And I actually got them all in order today for you guys, which took me a very long time, because there's too many of these damn cards. No, I'm kidding. I love my cards. I hear people that read only with the major arcana. I don't know. I've heard that, but I don't. Ever. I always use all my cards. So, alright guys. That was a long video. So I hope you like it. Happy birthday, Joe. Happy birthday tomorrow. So this is for you. For you, for your birthday. I hope you feel well. And thank you guys for watching. And yeah, I think you guys will like this one. So tomorrow, Sundays with Satan, always. So I love you guys so much. And the book, I think I have like chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 done. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. And thank you guys for your support, for your and just everything. It's incredible. The support that you guys give. It's unreal. So very humbled by you guys. So thank you very much. Alright guys, I love you all very much. My mother is doing amazing. Amazing. So thank you guys for all the good wishes and good thoughts, and I return all of it. All of my love. So I will see you all tomorrow for Sundays with Satan. So everybody have a good day. Be safe. If you're going to festivals, take pepper spray just in case. Just be safe. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.